Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host Gershwan, and today we're going to be talking about a Chaos Space Marine warband known as the Tenebrae. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions for topics, please let me know what they are in the comment section below. And if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with all of that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Tenebrae. One of the deadliest heretical Astarte warbands that haunts the Imperium and the Segmentum Pacificus is known as the Tenebrae. They are notorious for launching raids from their unknown lair in the Veiled region. Amongst the dense nebulae and alongside discarded stellar matter, the Tenebrae wait for foolhardy rogue traders or hopeful colonists that attempt to tame this unmapped region of space. The origin of this Chaos warband is a complete mystery to the few Imperial savants with knowledge of their existence. The few gathered scraps of data point to the warband falling to chaos undivided in the few centuries following the end of the Horus Heresy. Their ancient and tattered war gear shows extreme signs of damage, and a peculiar dust purple seems to be their old livery. They also have no visible iconography, making their Legion badge a complete mystery. Their warband name is actually the ancient Terran Latin word for darkness, which might represent the veiled region of space where these heretics found safety after Horus's defeat on Terra and the retribution enacted by the Loyalist legions. However, some inquisitors with knowledge of the region's history point to the ancient and still practiced ceremony by the same name. The Tenebrae rite, or practice, was a ceremonial mass performed a couple of days before the Emperor's ascension to the Golden Throne. This ancient rite was created by the Emperor-worshipping cults that formed after the heresy, and eventually became part of the Adeptus Ministorum. It has been noted that a few Space Marine chapters that were sent to defend the Imperial border to the Veil region eventually grew to worship the God Emperor of mankind, and adopted many of the religious practices of the people. It is believed that the Tenebrae might have betrayed the Imperium, and as an act of blasphemy to the Emperor, taken on the name of the ancient rite that venerated the Emperor's sacrifice. The truth might never be known, however. What is known is a long history of violence towards the Imperium. The earliest surviving records point to the infamous Hour of Shadow, which plunged the hive world of Loran Alpha into murder and madness in the 33rd millennium, and whose anniversary is still marked by sorrowful mournings 7 millennia later. These records, which are culled from the archives of the Blackwing Space Marine chapter, speak of the Tenebrae invading the Hive planet and slaughtering untold millions as they pillaged the world for resources and slaves. When the Loyalist Black Legion arrived, the Tenebrae fought a retreating battle and were chased by the Space Marines. The warband managed to make it to the Veiled region, where the Imperial pursuers went missing. 3 standard centuries later, a single damaged Blackwing strike cruiser returned bearing only a handful of survivors. It was recorded that the chapter master of the Blackwings was slain during this conflict. Although the warband was already hated and reviled before the atrocity, the Ordo Malleus of the Inquisition and the Blackwing chapter have sworn an oath of vendetta against the Tenebrae. Records of the Tenebrae renegade warband wouldn't exist until the early 41st millennium, in the event known as the Death of the Witch Moon, when the Forge Moon of Kazaya in the strategically vital Agathon system fell into an unnatural eclipse when its population was driven to murder and madness in an endless night of horror. The dreaded forces of the Tenebrae and the Company of Misery reigned as dark kings amidst the nightmare, and the baleful light of the Witch Moon spread calamity and warp-tainted phenomena wherever it fell, threatening the entire star system. The first Imperial attacks by the Astra Militarum took the form of squadrons from Battlefleet Ultima and the Inquisition, but they were hurled back in tatters by the madness of the Black Light and the warp-fueled savagery of their defenders. It is only when the unexpected arrival of the Cardinal Guard chapter, accompanied by a sacred band of the Adeptus Sororitas Order of the Black Sepulchre, bearing the holy relic known as the Book of Tears, were able to prevent the loss of tens of billions of lives on Agathon Prime. The Cardinal Guard was able to lead a fresh assault as further Adeptus Astarte forces, including the Iron Hands and the Stormlords, as well as the Adeptus Mechanicus reinforcements arrived. They were able to fight a brutal battle of tank and gunship clashes across the soaring metal canyons which creased the moon's surface, and chamber by chamber Zone Mortalis actions to purge the moon of the shadow that had befallen it. The traitor Marines inflicted fearful losses on their besiegers before they were driven back to the deep darkness of the warp. In the wake of this retreat, all life was purged from the moon before it was given back to the hands of the Machine Cult for tech exorcisms and eventual reclamation. The Tenebrae appear again and again, scattered throughout history, at the Luxor Drift Genocide, the Fall of Yun, the Plague of Madness, and the Karthath Iconoclasm, right up to their most recent sighting during the Orpheus Crisis. They always appear during times of terror and discord. Always, their presence is a herald of suffering and the nightmarish distortion of reality as a wave of suicidal despair and insanity going before them like a baleful shadow. Where they go, light is consumed by darkness, a darkness which hungers for life and whispers blasphemies to eat at the sanity of most righteous men. So insidious is their attack upon the will and the soul, that when the Tenebrae attack in full force, for theirs is a full panoply of war, including many ancient relics of battle and demon-tainted engines, that little resistance can be offered against the onslaught, as fortress worlds and bastions thought secure against the might of the armies fall in mere hours to the dark butchery. Another unique quality of the Tenebrae is the Fellblade tanks in their arsenal. These ancient patterned super heavy battle tanks used to be a common weapon for the Space Marine legions during the Great Crusade, but the standard template construct design has since been long lost. What makes the Fellblade so dangerous is their armament. They are equipped with a panoply of weapons, all but unknown in the 42nd millennium. The tank's primary weapon is a turret-mounted twin-linked accelerator cannon, a vacuum-based system that uses a complex overpressure mechanism to propel heavy shells with greater force than would be possible with a conventional cannon. So effective is this system that very little recoil is produced, making the weapon extremely accurate and stable. These once holy and venerated engines of war are now twisted and corrupted by the forces of chaos. So powerful are these weapons that a single tank could take down an Imperial Titan. When the Tenebrae attack, an eerie hush descends over the battlefield. Carrion birds cease their calling, and chittering insects fall silent. In this void of sound, soldiers can hear their own heartbeat, their blood pulsing faster as fear sinks its cold talons into their souls. As a soldier prepares for battle, he sees something move at the corner of his vision, but it is gone by the time he turns his head. Another hears a sound so otherworldly that she cannot be sure her mind is not playing tricks on her. Then a pair of glowing eyes peer out from the battlefield to look hungrily at its prey. More than any other Chaos Warband, the Tenebrae use the void of space as a weapon. They seldom clash with an enemy that can match them in battle, instead only picking at the weak points of the opposing force. And they have become masters at drawing out their enemy and leading them into uncharted space. There the Tenebrae allow precision strikes and terror to whittle away at the enemy. They simply wait patiently for the right moment when they can finish off what remains of the foe. The Tenebrae seem to have an instinctual understanding of the void. They know the locations of countless hideouts within the spiraling nebulas and dust clouds of the Veiled region. By allowing the enemy to give chase through their domain, they disorient their foe and render them defenseless, even when their military might is far greater than their own. This mastery of the void has also made the warband guides for the other Chaos forces. Other warlords and Chaos sorcerers present gruesome offerings to the warband in exchange for safe and speedy passages through the void. To the Tenebrae, there is no boundary that cannot be broken, and no route too chaotic that should be ignored. Their realm is darkness, and darkness is their home. And those were 40 facts on the Tenebrae. I hope you guys enjoyed. I feel like I haven't covered a Chaos Space Marine warband in a while. Same thing with a Chaos Space Marine chapter. I talk about homebrewing a lot, but I haven't actually given you guys lore on a specific chapter or warband. So here it is, and hopefully it helps you, either if you're just listening for fun or if you are trying to create the lore to a specific homebrew something or another. I hope this helps. If you guys have suggestions for other warbands or other chapters that you guys would like us to talk about, let me know in the comment section below. It seems that Space Marines are the most popular, whether they're Chaos or not. It seems like you guys always suggest Space Marine topics. If there's anything else, obviously, ask in the comment section below, because it does get a little tiresome to talk about Space Marines all the time. We are not like GW that constantly puts out Primaris. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you tomorrow. This is Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, if you could put my